however you
Cool.
want to do it. Like a lot of these have been like real time, like
Mm-hmm.
but if you want to jump around and do different, I don't really care. I'm just looking forward to playing however you want to play.
Uh, well, you're the captain of this ship, so I'll follow your lead.
We're in trouble then.
I'm fine with going free with doing free form.
It's kind of like whatever, whatever pops up. I just want,
Huh?
I'm all about like just fun. So
Cool.
just
Cool.
have
Cool.
as
Cool.
much fun as we can.
I totally agree
And
with
then
the fun part.
yeah, exactly right. And then afterwards, I like to just talk about like how you got your start and like what brought you into improv. So we'll after the scene, I'll call the out at about 10 minutes
Hmm.
or so, and then after the scene, just like kind of get to know a little bit about your story, like where you came from and what brought you
Hmm.
to improv and all that.
Great.
And
Great.
then like anything that anything you want to promote or anything you're working on or how people can get a hold of you.
Well,
Uh,
that's cool. Yeah, I'm trying to get an improv podcast off the ground, so.
oh, cool. Do you know what the format's going to be? Do you have any idea or?
Oh no, I mean off the ground, like getting people to notice us. We've been doing it for about a year now.
Oh, I'd love to. Let's talk about that then for sure.
Cool. Yeah, we do long form.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all the same in a strange kind of way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's all
I
about
mean,
just.
the difference is that it takes us a very like kind of a long time to record. That's the difference.
Well, I can't wait to hear more about it. We've got.
Cool.
Give me a number. Pick a number 1 to 13.
7.
All right, number 7. 1, 2, 3, 6. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, our suggestion comes from Bob, and it's
Hey,
Rose.
Bob.
Hey, Bob. The suggestion is Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl.
Yeah, Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. That was a curveball, if I dare say so. No, 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 no. Don't look at me.
Okay.
Look at the Rose Bowl and
Okay.
tell me what you feel.
I feel like I want to say an answer that you want me to say, but I know that's not what you want. So I
Right.
check I check in a lot with people.
Chris,
Yeah.
you've been doing this apprenticeship for how long? Like 5 months already?
Yeah, well, let's see, April, March, February, January, December. Yeah, 5 months. Yeah.
5 months. You can't differentiate between the rose balls and the pink balls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, can I be honest with you, Marv?
Yes.
Like, my instinct is, my gut's like telling me the right answer, but then when I start thinking about it, I start like second guessing my own thought. I'm like, that's definitely the Rose Bowl. I can tell you
Yes.
what I see, but then I start thinking, but is it? And I start questioning myself. That's my problem right now. Like, I know how to
And
do.
that's exactly the problem. We've been Chris, second guessing yourself is not part of this trade. If you want to be a bulk carpenter,
Yeah.
you have to be sure about your skills, about your feelings. It's all here, man. Stop doing math in your head. Start feeling.
I am so frustrating you. You've had this conversation with me so many times, and why won't it sink in? I think I set myself up for failure. Like I have a fear of success, so I want to fail. That's what I think.
I I never thought it that way. Do you think maybe I think I've been too hard on you?
I don't know. I mean, we come in every day, and we get to this point, and I'm like, I know what it is, and then I look at you, and you say, "Don't look at me," and
Yes, it's my yeah.
and you're right. You're right. And I start getting in my head. And then once I'm in my head, I can't get out of my head. And then I like It's like, don't think, it's like when somebody says, don't think purple elephant, that's all you think about. And you're like, don't look at me. And it's like, okay. And I just feel this pull to want to change my eyes to look at you. And I know that's not the thing.
All right, let's do this.
Okay.
Just say the first thing that comes into your head. No mental math.
Well,
All right, we've gone through this. No mental math. Just jump for it.
the first thing is purple elephants because I just said purple elephants. So that's the first thing in my mind.
Chris.
Let me do this. Let me just clear my head, Marv. Let me just. No, I'm still thinking about purple elephants. I mean, purple elephant, it is a very, like, there are no such thing, right? Okay, hold on.
It's a rose ball. It is a rose ball. In fact, a ball with rose printed around it. It's a rose ball, Chris.
I mean, that's my first instinct is like, it says it on
Oh
the
my
bowl.
God.
It's rose colored. There are roses in the bowl but then I'm like, is it Occam's razor? It's like the right answer, like the most obvious answer is always the right answer. I'm like, well, that's true most of the time. But I'm like, are you putting me in my head because this is the kind of pressure?
Chris,
if I can't pass this, I can't pass anything, Mark.
Chris, shut up.
Okay.
Really?
I'm going to just zip it.
What?
Yeah.
What are you doing now? You know what you're doing. What are you trying to run away from? What's all this pantomime? Yeah, I'm using big words now because that means I'm serious.
Well, I want to impress you. And I feel like if I don't say the thing you want me to say, then I'm not going to impress you, and I'll never get your approval. And
you're not here to impress me, man. You're here for the balls. You should be here for the balls.
I mean, this is pretty much a metaphor for me. Like I'm such a people pleaser.
Yes.
That what I do is I put that in front of everything. And so my focus becomes on pleasing someone when really you don't want me to please you.
I want you to please my balls.
Yes, you want me to please the balls. And like,
yes. I mean, not just mine, the world's balls.
I mean, you've always said, take the world by the balls and go for it. Okay, I'm ready.
sorry, I got emotional because that's...
No, I'm gonna cry.
That's exactly what I said.
Wait, if you cry, I'm gonna cry, Mark.
No, please. Let's keep it... let's try and keep it professional, all right?
I've never had a brother, and I consider you a brother. In these past 5 months, I consider you my brother.
They've been magical to me, too. All these people pleasing you do, I've never had an apprentice who was so committed to my opinion. That made me feel powerful and respected.
I'm afraid that if I get this right and I pass this final test, that our relationship will never be the same. I'm sabotaging this myself because I'm afraid that our relationship is not going to be the same after this, that I'm not going to see you as much.
And I keep pushing you because I know you're going to fail under pressure. Because I want to keep you under my wing.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna walk in.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna tell you which one the rose ball is.
All right.
And regardless of the outcome, our relationship is still gonna continue. And if it doesn't, I have no control of that.
Shh. What we have here, it's special. All right? Never forget that.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you got it, right?
Yeah.
Now, do it. Welcome, young one. Pick the right ball and finish your apprenticeship.
The Rose Ball is that ball. Thank you. Thank you.
Chris, I heard the applause from outside.
Yeah,
You've done it.
Dad, I passed. I'm a professional ballsman like you.
That title does sound much worse when you say it out loud, but
It is what it is, right?
it is what it is. Yes, welcome. Welcome. You're not an apprentice anymore. You are. I.
I am.
All right. I think I'm ready to say it. Welcome to the trade. Official. Chris the Ballsman.
Scene. Chris, the official ballsman, dude. That was. I love playing with you. I loved also the fact that you made the choice that my choice was the right one. And like too many times we don't see that. We see people go, you lost. And I love it so much more when it's like, no, you made that choice. And then to come in at the end, that was great, man.
Well, I felt that Chris worked really hard on this. He deserved it.
It's more his victory.
Yeah, he really wanted to be a ballsman. Who am I to take it away from him? Come on.
Now, how did you get involved in improv? Like, where did you take your first class or do your first show, or how'd you get involved?
It all started in Shanghai. Not a few years ago, actually. I joined Zmack. It's a very strong improv community there in Shanghai. It's they're really, really strong. I joined them, and they liked me enough to keep me around. So I've been doing improv with them for about like 5 years now, I think, or shorter. I don't know.
Well,
It's been a while.
And is it something where like you had always a sense of liking to be creative in comedy as a kid, or is it something where you were like, well, I'm looking to do something, different, or was it kind of a combination?
Well, I've always liked being the center of attention as a kid, amazingly enough.
Yeah.
But I never decided to go into acting, like professional acting, because it's not a viable career and my parents wouldn't approve of it. So I decided to become a teacher. But that was always something that, acting, I always told myself that I would be really, really good if I actually did it, but I've never done it because I was a coward.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a coward combined with, I mean, I don't know if it's a coward, but you are told, like you said, your parents are like, that's not a viable career. So you're steered away from it. If you're looking to those people who are your mentors or your guides and they say, oh, it's not viable, then you tend to believe them because you think your parents know everything, especially as a young person. You're like, well, my parents have all the answers. And then you slowly realize,
Yeah.
oh, well, they don't.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Because here's the thing, like that's something that I had always told myself that I would be really, really good at, right? What would happen if I actually tried it and I failed miserably? There was always that kind of fear in my head, right? Up to a certain age, you have to stop blaming your parents for your decisions. I
Sure.
was way too old when I started doing acting, right? I took an acting workshop in Shanghai, and there was and I did a play, right? There where I met Curt, who's the founder of
Yep.
Zmack Shanghai, right? We did Fight Club, like a stage performance of Fight Club. A lot of fun. I met Curt there, and then that's how I started. I was way too old to start acting. I mean, way too, I guess. I was like 26 when I
Oh,
decided to,
yeah, dude,
bite the bullet.
way too old. 26. I mean, you're like,
Okay, I was playing catch up with everyone else that had much more experience than I had. All right.
but that's the asset. That's the having that life experience. Like you have so much more than somebody who started younger because you've experienced more life that you can then also draw upon and bring to the stage than people who are
That's a
young.
very good point. Thanks, Jay. I like talking to you.
Well, I do think it's true, and I think it's like it's never too late. And improv at times, especially in the States here, seems to be a younger person game. Like, but the more I've done this and worked with people who are like in their 30s and 40s and 50s who are just starting off or 60s, it's like they have less. I got to try and prove something about them. They have less. I want to get somewhere about them. That they are actually once they get into it, I find they're like way ahead of a lot of the people who have been doing it for a while because they have that life experience to draw on and
I
they're not
see.
trying to prove anything.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's something I saw in Shanghai when we would bring in new people, and the people who were like generally older. Yeah, as you said, like they have like a larger like toolkit to draw
Yeah.
from.
Yes. Yeah, and it's like you have those, like you said, those tools that you can bring, and one of the biggest tools they have is as somebody older, you're more comfortable with who you are as a person. You
Yeah,
start
it's
to
like
understand it.
you run out of shits to give, and you're just like you're giving love. I guess you're giving passion.
Right? I mean, I
Yeah.
love it's like I've kind of run out of shits to give. And as you perform and you're experiencing this, you get to a certain point where you're like, oh, I don't have to hold on to every improv scene that's a make or break thing. It's like
Yeah.
I'm going to do a ton of them and I can start enjoying doing these for wherever it goes. And if it goes off the rails, I'm still going to be fine. And those you learn from the good ones, but the ones that don't connect as much, it's like, oh, I learned from it more. But as you get older, you stop getting concerned that the scene's going to work out. You're just like, it's going to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
It's just going to be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah. Like the most fun I've ever had doing improv scenes is when I'm like, to hell with it, and I
Yes.
just do it.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever happens, happens, and like usually it's always been good. Right? The result has always been good. Whenever you can get out of your head, which is kind of like the problem that most people that have encountered doing improv, like they're in their head a lot. It usually happens with older people too. Like the older you get, the more like in your head you are. Or so that's been my experience, right? But once you can like break that, it's
Yes.
a whole new world.
Well, it's not just improvisers, man. It's humans. Are
Well,
in their
that's a really good point.
all we do is our majority of our day is spent in our head thinking about how terrible we are. That's what we do because your
Yeah.
brain wants to protect you and it's about surviving. So it's always looking at things as threats.
And
Everything
how
you
to
do.
argue with other people, making sure that you're right.
Yeah.
How
Oh,
to go against other people.
I I had to stop playing like board games and card games because I had this desire to be right and win. And I had to learn how that's not important. But for so long, I was like, I have to be right in this conversation, even if I make the other person feel bad, or even if I feel bad, I have one goal. I got to be right, and then I have to win. And those are two.
Yeah.
That the combination of those two led me to a very miserable life.
Yeah. Well, my loved ones say that I tend to be very competitive, so I don't play games with them. I just have nice conversations, and I limit my gaming to like online play, so I can just
Yeah.
be angry at random people.
People you don't know.
Exactly. I don't rage. I don't flame on the on the chat, on the gaming
Yeah.
chat. I just scream in my into myself like. But it's a way of venting for me.
Now you also started you're doing some podcasting, right? Like tell me about that.
Yes.
Like how did that start and what kind is it? Are you doing like narrative or are you doing like interviews? Like what's the podcast?
A very good friend of mine, Paul Dakeman, who's gonna be one of your guests sometime soon.
Yep.
I hope.
Yep.
He's really cool. We started this. He came to me with this idea of doing an improvised podcast because, and these were his words: most of the improv podcasts you can get to are trash. And he was like, "Hey, I think we can do something better. We've certainly been trying. I don't know if we've succeeded, but we've been trying."
For sure. And there's an audience, man.
Yeah, we do mainly story related. I mean, mainly we only do stories, like long form stories, right? We improvise them, but we try to get like to emphasize the story part. So you try to have like character arcs and all those the fancy stuff, and try.
The
We're not
fancy
that. Yeah, because we're not really fancy on the improv side. We try to keep it, very very simple, very
Yeah.
basic, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? So not to get into too much complexity, which is like you're trying to keep track of a story, which you're trying to keep track of the technical stuff of the podcast, the guest, and all the conversation, and then try to do like more advanced improv stuff. It kind of breaks apart. So we try, okay, this is the improv is very reliable, and then we try to experiment with the story itself.
I mean, I don't think going simple is a bad thing. I think it's perfect. Doing simple stuff. I mean, it's easy to follow and people I think enjoy it more.